Hello, hello, and welcome back to the show. My questions for you today. Do you want to enjoy your life fully? Do you want to feel gratified and satisfied at the end of every day? I know I do, and most of the clients that I work with do also. So, hello, 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 and welcome back to the show. If you're tuning in again, thank you for being here. If you're new, welcome. My name is Kat Moulton, and I'm your guide to help unstuck your life, if you will. A little different terminology that I've used before, but it's to help you get unstuck to be the hero or the shero of your own story, really to live fully, to love fully, and to feel so good in your own skin each and every day. And that's what today's episode is about. We're going to talk about 7 generative questions to help you quantum leap your life, help you move your life forward and get unstuck. So many of us want to do that, but oftentimes we feel stuck in that hamster wheel, just like we're another cog in the wheel, or we feel weighed down by fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD, we've talked about that before. You hear about it a lot. We can tend as humans to get really stuck in the stories of our past or in the energy of what's going on around us in the world, right? We can change that. We have the power. And as you've heard me say before, I believe that curiosity is the root of alchemy. Ask a new question, get a new answer. Ask a better question, get a better answer. So that's what we're going to talk about today. 7 questions that can shift the quality of your life, but really to help you get in touch with what you want to create, how you want your life to be, and how you really want to show up. We walk around and we see people all the time who feel good, they feel alive, they're creating things, doing things, having these experiences that we might want to have too. The really cool thing is if that we can see it in them, we can create that for ourselves. And if we want to shift and become clearer, more coherent and congruent in our life, we just have to ask some new questions. Get really curious. So for example, I think I've talked about this in another episode, and it really pertains to my life. If you want to lose weight, or be more slender, how can we really do that? A lot of times we know all the things we should do, eat less, exercise more, blah, blah, blah. But we keep holding on to that weight. It's because it's really about the energy. We've got to get into the energetics of it. And when we ask questions of like, how can I lose weight? Why am I not? The reticular, I can't even speak today, I'm sorry. Activating system in our brain helps us find the answer to whatever question we're asking. So instead, when I couldn't release all the weight that I was carrying, no matter how much I moved my body, how much better I ate, I had to ask some new questions and look at my life a little differently and ask questions like, how can I have perfect and divine health? What can I do to look and feel the way I desire? So how can I feel amazing in my skin today? And those questions were much more generative and bigger than just being a different body size. So, okay, you get the idea, right? And back to the initial questions. If you want to live a more fulfilling life, ask some questions so you can create that life for you, that gratifying and satisfying life. So here are my 7 questions for you today. Question number 1, you've probably heard me say this before, is ask, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel in my body? How do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? How do I want to feel when I rest my head on the pillow at night? These are some of my favorites. But we can get, or when we can get curious about how we want to feel, if it's different than we're actually feeling, we have the power and we can make the choices to feel differently and show up differently. So when you ask this to yourself, how do I want to feel? Just notice what comes up. What comes up for you? What is your truth? And if you want to feel some of the feelings that I did or some of my clients did, like I want to feel more joy, more love, more playfulness, more ease, whatever emotions come up for you. It's really tapping into those vibrations. Clarity is power. So knowing how you want to feel is a great baseline to manifesting and creating anything in your life. Okay, the next two questions are about creating space to feel that way and to do, be, and have all the things we desire. They are about letting go. So the second question is, who or what do I need to forgive to be at peace? Well, this is a big one, because if we want to create, generate, curate, whatever the word is, manifest, we've got to create space for it. And so this is a big one for a lot of people, and it was for me. We can tend to be carrying around a lot of anger, resentment, again, fear about things that may have happened in the past. It affects our moods, our decisions. It really impacts our view of the world. So once you know what it is or who it is, that you want to forgive to be at peace, the next level question or part of that is, how can I forgive? Because sometimes we don't know how. But it's asking the questions, what if it were easy to forgive? What if it were possible? What if we let it be easy? Growing up, I often heard my mother say the phrase, "What is unforgivable?" to something. And that really stuck with me. And it made me start to embody that there were certain things that happened in life that were not forgivable. What I've come to terms with is that is not true. So when we can let go of the resentments and the anger and the negativity or the woe is me things in our lives, we can move forward. So again, who or what do I need to forgive to be at peace? And question number 3, I know I put in a lot of other little questions under the forgiveness part, but the third big question to ask is, what do I need to let go of to have the life I desire? Again, it's about creating space, and it might be something very different than forgiveness. So what do I need to let go of to have the life I desire? For me, I had to let go of my marriage. We've talked about this before, and there are other questions that can pinpoint to that, but I really needed to let it go and shift my perceptions of what my beliefs around marriage were. Was it forever? Was it staying in something regardless how toxic it was? A lot of it came to do the inner work and shifting my own perspective. So I ask you, what do you need to let go of to have the life you desire? Okay, the next few questions are a little more upbeat and generative in nature. Question number 4, what do I love? Ask yourself. Some people have never really got to those questions about what would I love? We just keep doing the things we think we're supposed to do. What would I love to do? What would I love to create? It's a favorite question of mine, and I talk about this in some of my other work, because the energy of love, which is the energy of the heart, is a complete game changer. Love is a generative force. It's a healing force. So focus on love, focus on the heart and the energy of love, and let the other things just go. And give yourself space for this. That's why we do those other questions about clearing out and creating space. Give yourself time to ruminate and play with, what do I love? Even when I ask that question, if you ask that question to yourself, what does that feel like in your body? And how does that shift your mood and your perspective? Okay, question number 5. Tie some of these in together. What would I do or say if I were not afraid? We mentioned that undercurrent of fear, and it's so prevalent in our culture today. That fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the anxiety, you can just feel the energy shift. That kills a lot of hopes and dreams and desires for so many of us. And if we stay stuck in that energy and we don't ask these questions of what would I love, what would I do if I were not afraid? What would I say if I were not afraid? It's very empowering. There's a couple of acronyms for fear. You've probably heard them before. Face everything and run, or false evidence appearing real. We want to move away from that energy of fear. So we want to look forward. What would I do? What would I love? How would I be? And just sit with that. If you are not afraid of looking foolish or bad or stupid or otherwise, what would you say and to whom? What would you create in your life? Okay, question number 6, the big question. And this one took me a long time to come to terms with, but how can I leverage my resources, my time, my energy, and money? How can I leverage them? This is about being efficient, letting our money work for us, letting our time and our energy work for us. So for example, do you have things on your credit cards that come up every month that you're being charged for that you may or may not use? Some type of membership, some type of thing for your business, subscription service that you just don't need. Let them go. And how could you maybe use your credit cards? I hear someone in one of my networking groups talk about leveraging all the time. That is his niche, his focus. So what are you putting on your credit card? Can you earn fly miles? Can you earn points and stuff? Can you leverage that? Can you leverage your time by hiring someone to do work for you in your business that it's really costing you money to do? So if you are a $250 earner, if you're doing a $20 job, $50 job, how can you leverage your time, your resources, and hire someone to do those other things? It frees up your energy so you feel more fulfilled, like you have more time. So hiring someone to clean your house so that you can work in your zone of genius. Again, how can I leverage my resources? How can I leverage my time, my energy, and money? And what other resources come to mind to you? Act on those. Okay, and my last big question today, number 7. This is a legacy question that I love. I heard about this in a real estate training a couple of years ago. What trees shall I plant whose shade I will not enjoy? This is a question that's bigger than ourselves, right? The web of impact, and I talked about this on the boundary episode with Krista Resnick, this web of impact on everything we do affects so many people. So when we get clear about what is bigger than us, what am I contributing to, this legacy, this adds to our fulfillment. This really helps us know our purpose. What tree shall I plant whose shade I will not enjoy? So much bigger than us, right? I'm just going to take a breath and sit with that. If you believe that there was something bigger than you, beyond you, and that whatever you did, even though we can't take the things with them, the energy that we put out into the world has a ripple effect for generations in front of us, what would you create? What would you generate? What would you manifest? What would you contribute to this world? Okay, so those are my 7 questions. I'm going to read them one more time for you. And I have 5 bonus questions. I'm going to save those for another time. They're about fulfillment. And if you're really curious, reach out to me and I will give you the 5 bonus questions. But here we go, without all the anecdotes. Question number 1, how do I want to feel? Question number 2, who do I need to forgive to be at peace? Question number 3, what do I need to let go of to have the life I desire? Question number 4, what do I love? Question number 5, what would I say or do if I were not afraid? Question number 6, how can I leverage my resources? Question number 7, what trees will I plant whose shade I shall not enjoy? Okay, I hope those questions were helpful to you. Grab a pen and paper, work with these at another time when you have some space for yourself. and just see what comes up for you. You can ask them. It's very powerful, as you know, to write down the answers. And if you want to share your answers with me, I would love to know. Hit me up at kat@katmoulton.com. Let me know how this worked out for you. Join us in building a bigger community about legacy and impact in the world at creatrix.club. It's KREATRIX.club. I would love to see you there or over at my personal website, katmoulton.com. KATMOULTON.com. So until next time, I hope you live an inspiring, generative life, that whatever energy you're putting out into the world is quantum leaping you forward and those around you. Bye-bye for now.